What helps you to trust that God can handle the injustices we see in this world? Isaiah lived through one of his nation's most turbulent periods, during which he witnessed Judah's defeat by the Babylonian Empire and actually saw his fellow citizens taken into captivity. He prophesied during the reign of 5 kings. And that brings us to our key verse for today, which reads, "For a child is born to us, a son is given to us, and the government will rest on his shoulders. These will be his royal titles: Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace." Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6. The Hebrew word for darkness here is kosek. It's the same term used in creation. Isaiah used the term frequently, and the meaning is clear that this is not just nighttime, as clarified above, but rather dangerous spiritual obscurity at best and the definition of evil at worst. Meanwhile, the Hebrew word for light is or, which also is the same word used in creation. Although Israel rejected God directly and through his prophets, he still planned redemption for them in due time. Matthew did not miss the glorious reality that in his day Jesus fulfilled God's promises delivered through Isaiah, even quoting the prophet's words. Multiple comparisons can be made between Isaiah's reference to the Messiah and Gideon's victory over the Midianites. God reduced the Israelite army from 32,000 to a mere 300, or 1% of the original force, making them outnumbered 400 to 1. The whole purpose, as stated in Judges 7 verse 2, was so there was no way the Israelites would receive the glory. Clearly, the sovereign God secured the victory. God overcame the Midianites and delivered Israel with Gideon's tiny army, and in the same way, God would ultimately break the power of sin and bring redemption to the world through a tiny infant. God never afflicts or humbles a person or nation without teaching the lessons of humbling oneself in trust and faith, even as Jesus did, see Philippians 2 verse 8, in order to avoid being involuntarily humbled. God did not come as an even greater oppressor, but rather as a child. As the son of David, he would reign from David's throne, but as the son of God, he would be God with us. Interestingly, the child who would bear the righteous rule on his shoulders would remove the burden of the shoulders of the oppressed. The one who was beaten would deliver humankind from the rod of injustice. The one who bore the yoke of the cross would deliver people from their impossible burdens. The one named Emmanuel received a royal investiture, complete with the conferring of throne names. The titles Wonderful Counselor and Mighty God convey a supernatural, extraordinary overtone of divine wisdom and power. Everlasting Father describes the divine Father who cares for the orphans and widows, and also loves and cares for all God's people. Prince of Peace, in Hebrew this is Sar Shalom. The royal Godchild will bring the blessings of peace with righteousness. As an elaboration of the divine names of the child, the implications also are nothing short of supernatural. A king might enlarge a kingdom, but only a divine king can enlarge his kingdom infinitely. This kingdom will be so much greater than the kingdom of Israel or David. Not only that, everything will be built on righteousness. In Isaiah 9 verse 7, government in Hebrew is misra and refers to a rule of dominion. Nothing will corrupt this princely administration. The last sentence of verse 7 changes the prior prophetic perfect tense to simple future tense. It will happen. God himself will make sure it happens. And so here's our lesson. The prophet Isaiah lived in a time of political turmoil and spiritual confusion. The people of Judah were understandably anxious as the powerful Assyrian army gathered at the gates of Jerusalem, and their world was similar to ours in some ways. Many people are stressed out, feel powerless, hopeless, and helpless. But similar to Isaiah, we can reach out to someone this week and let them know that God is still in control, and speak words of comfort to them and let them know that God knows and cares. Thank you so much for listening and subscribing to iLights. Heavenly Father, fill our hearts with what we truly desire, for whom we truly seek is you.